Hello, everyone. Hello, Anna.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's live for Andy Business Club. You all know that every month on the second Thursday, we do this live from 12 to 1. And me and Anna co-host these events. And we intend to add knowledge to the network, to the Andy people. Uh, to get you out there, to listen to your voices, and as well as spread the word. So, Anna, thank you for supporting these events throughout. And most of you know that we have combined and jointly working for this Andy Business Club and working together to support Andy businesses. And I just want to introduce myself, and then I will pass into Anna to introduce her. So I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui from Neurodivergent Business Consortium. You know that we support specifically neurodivergent business owners for you to be more specific and grow. I have technology know-hows and marketing and digitals and AI and a lot of things embedded within my expertise I can support. And feel free to contact me through the social channels as well as all other social channels available. And Anna, here we go. It's your time.
Hi, so I'm Anna Bravington. I am Innovation Director at Oxford Innovation, but I also own my own business. So I understand what it's like as a business owner who's neurodivergent. I have ADHD. And I really love supporting other businesses, owners that have neurodivergence, because I know that sometimes there are barriers that you need to get over. For example, I have a wonderful support through Access to Work who help supply software and things to help with my ADHD. And sometimes you just need that support and actually just some confidence building that that other people are also neurodivergent and own a business like Dr. Shah and I. So this is why I really love doing ND Business Club with Dr. Shah, because we just want to show people that there are plenty of us out there and we can support each other.
I totally agree with you, Anna, because when we talk about neurodivergent and their supports, it's not that much support available in the landscape. If you think about national curriculum, if you think about the broader aspects of specifically supporting neurodivergent people, is not out there that much. And sometimes people struggle to find specific information that can support specifically to their business and to their personal lives. There are support available for them to get benefit from the government. But when you talk about specifically how you can grow your business, where you can go to support individuals, there isn't out there. So we come up with this idea that okay, with Andy Business Club, we will support you and create this support bubble, I would say, to lead you to the success. And you know that nowadays social media is playing a vital role to contribute more and to engage more. And we are taking that opportunity together to aid you with our knowledge and give you the success you're looking for. So Anna, as we're going to be discussing digital marketing, sales funnel, and as well as accessibility
Yes.
in uh, accessibility is design. Some people they think that is a buzzword, but you know that accessibility is in design is something different that can make your life easier. So Anna going to be talking on that. I
Yep.
will talk about sales funnel and as well as social selling, how you can create a sales funnel and utilize social selling to reach the target audiences. So Anna, do you want me to go first with the sales funnel and social channels, or you wanted to do the accessibility first and then we do the sales funnel?
And we can start with accessibility if you want to just sort of introduce
Yeah,
that. I've got a few slides as well.
yeah.
If I just share my screen.
Mhm. And you
Just
know that accessibility is key for nowadays for people like us.
yeah,
Um, you know, you talk about the benefits and a lot of other things, access to work and other benefits. I struggle when I go to their website because it's not that much accessible for me
that's
specifically. I don't know it's for other people or not,
yeah.
and I'm overwhelmed with a lot of information. Is I cannot take them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I must admit, when I did Access to Work, I went through an agency who help you navigate access to work, because you're right, it isn't the most accessible thing in the entire planet. So, which sort of defeats the object when you need help. So, no, I do agree with that. That I found it difficult, but the agency were wonderful. I used This Is Me agency, and everything they asked me was, how do you like to be communicated with? Is it okay if we do this? Lots of permission-based stuff, checking that everything I was okay at each point, asking how I like to work. So that's what I would consider ideal for, person-based, when you're having phone calls with people in person. Ask, the best way to make things accessible to people is sort of ask them what they want. And that can really help, because everyone's needs are different, and if you're asking people, it means that you're tailoring to their personal needs, which is brilliant. And you don't have to be disabled or neurodivergent to ask for people's personal needs, because if someone is an introvert, or is struggles with social situations, you could ask them how they like to be communicated with. It's a really good thing to start doing for everyone. But yeah, accessible design is something I've been a passionate for a very, very long time. I used to be, in the distant past, a programmer and a web designer, and I used to work a lot in government and in local authority in the UK, and a lot of the sites. It was sort of when the guidelines were first coming out on what is accessible design, how do we make websites accessible, and I've been a big advocate for it ever since. And there's quite a lot to consider, but the first thing I wanted to share was sort of like the stats of how many people in the UK have a disability. So around government estimates that it's about 16 million people in the UK. I don't know for different countries, because I know some people on here for different countries, but I imagine that most countries probably have very, very similar statistics. I mean, in the UK, that's 24% of our total population, because we're not a huge population of a country, because we're an island. So it's if you're not thinking accessibly, and you'll probably find similar in yours, you're probably discounting probably a quarter of your audience potentially. That could be the problem, and that could be a huge problem, because there's a lot of stats that I've seen, not just UK but globally, that disabled people have a lot of spending power that they're not catered for. So being able to access your services really does give you an advantage over the competition as well. And these stats are only for disabilities. There's other things that we have to think about, like temporary disabilities. So, for example, when I was living in London, I tripped over a step. It was about this big. But what I did on the way down is I put my hand down and I fractured my elbow. Now, this isn't a permanent disability, but it was my right hand, and I'm right-handed. So trying to use a computer, trying to write, trying to do anything with my left hand was incredibly difficult. So I used a lot of the shortcuts that maybe disabled people use, such as tabbing through my browser, using voice commands, etc., to be able to navigate websites. And actually, I got really frustrated, and I found it very, very difficult, because a lot of sites, you couldn't, things wouldn't work. When you tabbed, they went in some weird order or off the screen, or it was incredibly difficult to navigate. And or I'd be tabbing for about half an hour because it was missing out the link that I wanted to click. And it was really, really frustrating. So I started to get a feel for what it's like to, to really struggle, particularly if you couldn't use a mouse very easily. So when we're thinking about this accessible design, it could be more than a quarter of the population in your, wherever you are, that is needing this sort of service. So accessible design, I sort of break it down into two main areas online, which is readability. So I'm not sure how easy people see these, so I'll read them out. So readability is about how easy people can read the stuff that's on the screen. So we've got like color contrast, making sure there's sufficient contrast between text and background. And I'll go a little bit more into this in a minute because this is an important one. Text size, making sure your text is big enough, but also that you can scale it up and down if you need to, either with the browser magnification, or a lot of government sites have options of increasing text size. Screen reader compatibility, so screen readers like JAWS, etc., they read screens in a particular order, in a particular way. And if your website is not set up well, it can come out as a bit of a garbled mess, and people don't know what links they're supposed to be clicking, what headings belong with which paragraph. It can be a real mess. So thinking about sort of logical order of your text and sort of, things like, as we saw in the next one, alt text for images. That's really important because if someone tabs on an image and the alt text doesn't really mean anything and it's not describing the image, that's not going to do anyone maybe that's partially sighted or blind, because they don't know what's in the image. And then readable fonts, making sure your fonts aren't some scrolly fancy thing that people can't read easily. Line space and paragraph breaks. So interesting factoid that when you submit a manuscript to things like publishers, they make you do double line spacing because it's much easier for them to read. And actually, they also make notes sometimes between the lines. But if your text is too clustered together, one thing that a lot of people get with their screen readers is some people need rulers because they struggle to understand which line of text, their brain struggles to understand what line of text they're on. So if you've got bigger gaps between text, if someone hasn't got a screen ruler, it still makes it a little bit easier to see which line of text that they're on. And then, avoid relying on color alone. And I'll come into this one a bit in a minute to give you some examples, because people don't all see colors the same. Descriptive linked text. So things like read more, click here are really bad. You want things like read more about accessible design or read more about digital marketing, so that when someone clicks on a link, they know what that link goes to, rather than click here, what does that go to? And then resizable text, you can, sometimes when you zoom in, text becomes unreadable or goes on different lines or different places because of style sheets. So just making sure text is always readable if people are zooming in. And then things like accessible media as well. So every video that you ever do, always put subtitles on it for two reasons, not just for accessibility, because if someone can't hear, then they won't be able to hear your video and hear the wonderful message. But also a lot of people watch stuff with their sound off these days. So even if someone isn't disabled or hard of hearing, they might watch it with the sound off. So it's really important to keep stuff readable. Oh dear, I've gone on to my Dr. Shah's message there, asking me where I am. All over the day today. So the next one, I just want to quickly go. Have you got the right screen now?
Yes, yes, we do.
Yeah. So then the next one, I just want to quickly go through navigation. So I talked today about tabbing navigation. So people use the tab key quite regularly to tab through navigation in the design. So just when you're doing a design, try tabbing the different elements and pressing the tab key to see if they go in the right order and if it makes sense where that tab key goes. Things like consistent layout. So, people like myself, I struggle to read read sites that are a bit too, confusing and heavy because I've got ADHD. So I like really simple layouts, really logical titles, paragraphs that relate to those titles, and call to actions that are simple. So making sure that the layout is really consistent, keeping it consistent throughout pages. So I know keep your buttons consistent so that I know what a button looks like, or someone knows what your headings look like. So keep it all laid out with a sort of theme to it. Accessible forms. I mean, they're really important for every business because people need to fill out your forms. So making sure, once again, that people can sort of tab through the different parts of your form, and also that the labels are accessible so people can read what actually is in each field in your form, what you need. One of the ones that is quite popular at the moment is people put inside the form field, it writes name, but when you tap on the form, it doesn't say what it is anymore. So for people that maybe have struggled with memory, if you've got a form like that and they tap on a field and then they're like, oh, I can't remember what needs to be in this field. So if you've got a field that does that, make sure it pulls the name outside of the field so people know that this is a name field and address field, rather than just having it inside the form field. Responsive design to make sure it's accessible on different things like phones, tablets, etc., because people use different devices depending on their needs. Skip to content links. If someone doesn't want to read your navigation in your site, they want to get to the content, they can be really useful for people just to tab through to the content. Avoid automatic content. So things like pop-ups can be tricky on particularly things like screen readers, and JavaScript can sometimes be a little bit questionable. So think about how you're displaying that information to people, particularly if it's important things like you want people to fill in a form. If it's a pop-up that you want people to sign on your newsletter, if they can't see it, they can't do that. So make sure that's better. And then I've just put, just as an end, because this isn't really thing, but I've just put about printed material that didn't fit in either category. But a lot of some of these things can relate in the navigation and in the design to printed material as well. When you're printing stuff, there's a lot of time I see stuff without contrast, particularly in colour. And I just wanted to quickly, I've got a couple of slides just on colour contrast, because this is really important. And I feel like this is an easy fix. So some of them, like tabbing through things, might take you a little bit longer to fix, but this is an easy fix. So colour contrast, so about 1 in 12 women and 1 in 2 men and 1 in 200 women have some degree of vision deficiency. So this could be colour blindness, but it could be that people just don't see colours so strongly, their colours don't appear the same. If any of you have had like a test for colour blindness, you'll see this sort of dotty picture on the right hand side of my screen, which has the number 74, but a lot of people might not be able to see the letters, the number 74, because of the contrast. This is designed to tell whether you can tell the difference between colours. And I mean, 1 in 12 men is absolutely huge. So particularly if your demographic is male orientated, colour is so important, because 1 in 12 men may not be able to distinguish the colours on your website or your printed material, which is quite big. And on our government site, it says there's 2 things to think about in colour contrast. So anything that's indicated with colour needs to have a secondary way to be distinguished. So, for example, if you say in the text, use the green button if you agree, or the red button if you don't. If someone can't see green and red, because green and red is a sort of common colour blindness, how do they know which button to tick? So things like having icons such as a tick or a cross, or having the words agree and disagree are really important to have, as well as using the colours. And then for readable elements, something like colour contrast is really important. So I've just put a picture there so you can see the different contrasts. So you can see the blue on the green is incredibly hard to read. The light grey on the grey is hard to read, but the top 2 are quite easy. And there's a really simple way to work out if your colour contrast is good enough between your text and your background. And that is, there's loads of different ones like this, but I use the WebAIM contrast checker, completely free. And what you can do is you can put in the hex value of the font color, and you can put the hex value of the background color, and on it you scroll down and it tells you at like big size text whether the contrast is enough, at normal size text is it enough, and it just has little pass fails, to tell you whether it's passed or failed. And so this is like, I picked this one out because it was a really easy fix. You could go through and just tweak your colors. And this is a really good one if you're trying to pick your brand colours at the moment. Make sure you're picking colours that are accessible and high enough contrast, particularly in the important areas of text. So that was just a little sort of brief overview of accessibility. And if anyone wants the spreadsheet with the details in, let me know. Not the spreadsheet, the PowerPoint, let me know. So
Thank you. I think uh, it's inform a lot of individual things that I think people need to know about it, because when we design, um, we do not think about the accessibility. Uh, and I'm very critical when I work with people that if you don't think about accessibility, you will lose a stake of the population, and they need your support, or they need your consideration to look into. Because if you make a website and that website is not catering the target audience, or you say equal opportunities and a lot of other things, then it's a minus point for those organizations. They don't think it. And for accessibility is raising awareness nowadays, and we need to make our website accessible, because you know that most of the population, they will access your website now. Digital media, social media is capturing, I think, 90% of the population in the world. So we are not in the dark age that we don't think about people and their accessibility and their disabilities. We are in 21st century, and we need to work together to create the possibilities for future generation. You know that previously people used to neglect and hate us, that okay, neurodivergent people, uh, good for nothing, isn't it? Now it has transformed that neurodivergent people, they have superpower. Although I think that is superpower is too much, but we have special characteristics, and I say that mutation. We are muted differently than the normal neurotypical people, for us to work and contribute greatly, because the work we do, we are very dedicated, and we can do things like other people cannot. So that's why I call it that we are not disabled. Some of us may disabled, but that's different. So disability, neurodiversity, is a combined and gray area, some of the parts. But most of us, there we are doing business and as well as work, in different aspects. We have a clear vision. We have thinking, versatile thinking, and if we work together, we can create possibilities for everyone. So that's why uh, accessibility in design, and as well as understanding social media in this present landscape, is crucial, isn't it?
yeah, it really is. I mean, I talked earlier about going through access to work. So, as a neurodiverse person, although I'm not registered disabled, like exactly what you're saying, Dr. Shah, sometimes I just need a little assistance. And I have, they gave me some software that helps read my screen for me. But because when I read long paragraphs of text, I tend to get distracted, and I struggle to get through them. So for me, accessible design as a neurodivergent person is brilliant, because if I'm going to bring my reader up to read some, an article or some text that you've written as a site owner, if my reading software can't read through it, I'm going to just go on and find someone else whose site does do that. So you're putting off quite a large portion of the population. I think also, going back to what you said, Dr. Shah, about the digital age has given disabled people a lot more access to the world. My father is disabled and struggles to get out the house, yet he can do a lot of stuff online. He can access information. He can use products and go and find products and services. And he finds it incredibly a good way to be able to, branch out of his home to be able to access the world. So thinking about the fact that actually online there might be quite a huge amount of disabled users, because it is sometimes this lifeline to the world. And if they're finding all these barriers, it's going to become incredibly frustrating. It's the same as having a shop that doesn't have a ramp to get a wheelchair user in. if your site's not got right contrast, is not accessible, you're not providing a ramp for wheelchair users. It's similar sort of area of being accessible.
I totally agree with you, Anna. And as more, more neurodivergent person, they are working towards creating possibilities, systems, and system-wise thinking is out there. So it will be a nice heaven for our future generation. If I think about my son, um, or your children, they will get a place that they will be proud to be a neurodivergent, because we are contributing greatly and to make them happier in the future. So thank you everyone for joining today's live webinar. I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui, and we have Anna Bravington. We are co-hosting this event together, and I will just wanted to share my presentation with you for social selling, as well as sales funnel. So in relation with the social selling and sales funnel, uh, please remember that it's not a one thing that you could do to fix your social media or fix your sites and do a lot of things all together. It's a combination of process, and most of you are watching our live webinar. Uh, my and Anna's education and training are like completely a similar way, that we have understanding of software development, we have understanding of marketing and business development. So we work together, uh, that how we can contribute more. And that's the way that, okay, accessibility and a lot of other things kicked in. So any development software I develop specifically, I consider to be in a certain position that, okay, I tailor a specific medium that is accessible for anyone in terms of selecting the color, in terms of button, and a lot of other things. Yes, I know I'm not 100%, I'm not 100% perfect, but I try my best to accommodate the changes that I can be added to the platform. So in relation to that, I just wanted to talk to you about social selling first. So you know that social selling is something that everyone should embed to their culture. Why it is important? I'm just gonna go to my LinkedIn. Please excuse me for, because I'm just sharing my live LinkedIn feeds, so you might get messages and a lot of other things, and excuse me for that. I will try to minimize the messages and other bits and pieces. So you just can see someone, and please do excuse me, Peter. People can see your face. So Peter is from a company. They are working with towards supporting individuals, but that's not my point today. I just go to my profile. Why social selling is important? You probably know that social media is capturing 80 to 90% of the population in the world. Even if I talk to someone in a rural area in Bangladesh, or any other parts of the world, they have accessible mobiles. And it's not button mobiles, it's like full mobile with touch screens. So social media gave us the um, platform to communicate with the world. So now, if you're doing something on a rural area, it is getting everywhere. So I'm from the UK, from US, from any parts of the first world country can see what people are doing on a rural area. And you know that YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and a lot of other things. So we have combined a framework from GenZ and time research and innovation to come up with a solution to utilize LinkedIn and other social media to start selling. So if you're a business person and you wanted to sell socially, this is the right time for you, because the social media will capture more fields, and a lot of people, they are earning millions through social medias. And if you're a business and you wanted to utilize social media, you need to know the know how you can utilize it. You probably doing it for such a long time, you don't see any benefits. But if you utilize a framework like we have, or other people, there are other multiple people, they're working in the same landscape, they have their way of work. If you're working with an expert, sorry, I'm just having a message here. So if you are working with an expert, you will know it will work. And you know that most of the time I say that social media is not a magic wand will give you success on the next day. You have to work for it. You have to build your system. You have to build your social media, and it takes time, because it's about authority, and is about creating your persona. So when you create persona and authority to the target audience you're looking for, it's not 1 or 2 days job. It's a continual development. So uh, people might get frustrated when they hear me. That's okay. I don't want to overpromise you that okay, social media will give you the growth on the next day. You have to work through it, because you need to build your connections. You need to create your authority with specific social media post, and a lot of other things will kick in. So when you think about social media, you need to think about a framework, and with that framework you can engage individuals. So you have to have a lead attracting profile. And I just wanted to notice you that I just engaged with a company as a COO, and my social media will change to the work that I am doing now. So these projections will change based on my priorities. You know that I'm an academic, I work for universities, I'm a business person, I work for software development, marketing, and research. Um, yes, I have different type of job roles, and with my recent work that I'm going to be going, so I have priorities. At what time I will prioritize my channel to attract customers. So last 1 year I was attracted to social selling, LinkedIn marketing, and we have gained enough growth. So now I joined a company, and I will project my growth for that company, that okay, I'm going to be social selling for the company, that I become the COO. So that's the way. So if you are a business and you wanted to prioritize your social selling, you have to be very specific in terms of booking calls, in terms of sending message, and as well as in terms of your finalizing your core message. So if you see my future sections, you will see all the things that I do. You will see all my activities, all the work I do, prioritizing my social selling activities in the landscape. So social selling is core, and you can gain substantial growth if you work with a framework or work with someone. They have the know-how, or they have the that magic to give you the um, focus you were looking for. If you wanted to work alone, learning from the landscape, you can also do that, but that will be little bit later, because you will learn things and then you will implement things, and something you will learn from someone and then implement that might not work with you, because you didn't do the due diligence and you didn't have the um, um, we call the magic strategy, go to market strategy. You might not have that one. So if you do not have that one, and that might be a problem for you to get into the ladder, because people, they are working on social media, they are working ages to create a framework or create the successful framework. And you need to if you do not embed those, you will learn from your mistakes, and then you can grow. So you can see my profile here with a lot of information. And when people see my social media for social selling, they will have understanding what I do, what I am, and my capacity. And based on that, when you ask someone if they are looking to buy your product and services, they will know, yes, they're the right person asking me for right product and services, and you can start selling to them. So that's the part of social selling activities. Now I will jump into the sales funnel and social selling and sales funnel. Some people they call it landing page. We call it landing page or sales funnel, but landing page and sales funnel are a little bit different than others. But they have the same, mostly same characteristics. It's like a human with different color. So when we build a sales funnel, specifically, we tailor your methodology. We have a go-to-market strategy, and based on that go-to-market strategy, we have a specific framework for sales funnel, and we will work with you to understand your business and then lay out all the foundation that it is needed. And trust me, it works for me and it will work for you if you're thinking to attract people through social media and sales funnel, because social media is owned by someone else. So you cannot include a lot of information that you wanted to prioritize with your advertisement. But a sales funnel or a landing page or a website is your shop front nowadays, digitally, because people will search for you, people will look for you. So you need to have a shop front, and sales funnel, uh, landing page or website is your shop front. So when we start building sales funnel, if we prioritize the core knowledge of sales funnel. You know that sales funnel is existing for hundreds of years, and people prioritizing the sales funnel to grow their sales. And what we did, we took the original knowledge and then we combined with the technology to create the projections, like, okay, what you need to do in the sales funnel, what is the top level, what is in the middle level, and what is the bottom level. So when people will jump into the sales funnel, they wanted to see clear information, like what you are saying to them, call to action, how people will book you. It could be different type of call to action. Your calendar is one type of call for action, and getting messages is another call for actions, and a lot of other things. I will discuss this later, and as well as your core messages. And please remember that nowadays YouTube or Facebook Shorts and a lot of other things is getting very much popularities. So when you're thinking about social media sales funnel, you need to think about YouTube, because hosting your videos over there and your message is very clear. You can see here is very clear, and people even have accessibility issues can understand what is written there. So projections, and then a clear theme to give people what is this about. So an explainer video about your work is essential, because sometimes you might use some big brands, they use like different type of advertisement with different type of theme, maybe wiggling or doing something else. But it depends on your target audience, because big brands, they have big budgets and people know about them already. So if you are thinking to sell your product and services, you must need an explainer video about your product and services to let your audience know what is it about and what you are trying to sell. And then adding knowledge to the platform. You know that nowadays people are very much knowledgeable, and they want to know that yes, you are selling something and you have the core knowledges. So you need to let them know. And then your product and services, that what product and services. And on a landing page or sales funnel, we prioritize specifically very targeted, because you can see that we have similar services related to social selling. If it wasn't a social selling, if it was only a marketing sales funnel, we wouldn't add those things that is not relevant to the sales funnel. So relevancy is a core thing for a sales funnel, because people, they will understand that particular matter if they need that one, and they will get their buying choices, and then they will close the deal. So that's the theory here. So if you are building a sales funnel, you have to be very specific. So this is a sales funnel for social selling. So you can see, yes, on social selling we have multiple things at the same time, and we didn't include all the things. We just include the 6 core elements of the sales funnel, like content and copywriting is very much needed for social selling. Social media campaign design is very much needed for social selling. Social media management is another thing, is related to social selling. Cold email marketing to reach people is also relevant to social selling. SEO, another puzzle pieces is needed for social selling. And coaching and training, because you need to teach people how they can utilize. So very specific way to tell people, and the call to action, so people can get. So this is specifically uh, enter your name, enter your email address, phone number, and details. As Anna was saying, that sometimes some people will say things, and when you put the cursor in, they go. And that's very difficult for me to understand it. And I have to go through again to understand them. So you have to have a very clear picture when you say them, write messages, what they could include on the form. And then the next is we call it lead magnets. And when you are doing social selling, you need lead magnets. Lead magnets, in other way, are the hooks, marketing hooks. You're probably not familiar with hooks, but marketing is hooking people because you wanted to hook people to buy your product and services. That's not a buzzwords, and that's not a bad words at all. When you do work with salespeople, they will say, yes, I want to hook that one. And in modern way, we say lead magnet. So rather than hooking people, we say it's a magnet. It will attract people to your product and services. So you must have a lead magnet when you are doing social selling. Why? Because, as I said, people need to know that you are knowledgeable. People need to know the work you are doing. You are pro levels, and a lot of other things is attached here for people to understand what is your capacity. So, and this is also another thing that is important, that people will download this book, and it is fully automated, that we have automated system. So they will enter their name, email address, and phone number, and they will get a link emailed to them. So these information you are storing for selling, for to get their information, and you can contact them later. And other things, portfolios, what you have done so far. Testimonials is another thing. Frequently asked questions is another thing that people need to know what you are talking about, and if you have anything to add value. So what we are doing, we have a tailored message here with our free services. So if people wanted to have an experience, they can contact us to get free services to test us. So this is a tester, like a lead magnet to attract people. So that is on a nutshell of sales funnel. And sales funnel has to be designed in a way that people can go through with your sales funnel, because you need to know that people will skip through from end to bottom, very less time, under 30 seconds, everything they can escape through. And then they will go to the specific section they are looking for, and second time. And you know that people escape through a lot of things, a lot of information are out there. So that's it's all about sales funnel. I will give some 1 or 2 examples, and we'll go back to our conversation in a minute. So you can see that this is another sales funnel that we created for sales funnel accelerator to attract people, to provide them end-to-end services for businesses. They are looking to expand and they don't have that much manpower. So we support them with our 7 steps. This is a sales funnel. You can see, if I skip through that, you can skip through and you can get the essence of this in under 30 seconds. And this is another sales funnel that we have created, and we're launching it very soon for one of our customer. You can see very tailored, very specific way, um, um, getting people's attentions. Uh, and we also added a section here for the um, portfolios, so people can see what they have done so far for the population they are attracting, and packages and other things. So we tailor sales funnel and sales funnel strategy for individuals. There is another sales funnel for the ND mentoring that I do is similar way. And that's it for today, Anna, for people to know sales funnel and how they can contribute to grow their businesses with sales funnel.
Do you know what I really like about your sales funnel pages is how they nurture people down that sort of that funnel. You've got the enticing them. We're going to sort of make you more sales, and then trying to. That's the great thing about really good sales funnel, isn't it? And sales page. So okay, so you know what we're going to do, and here's some information, and then here's some great testimonials to show that we're really good. So we're convincing you as you go along, and I was loving watching you do those, and just things that like your portfolio. When people are clicking on the portfolio, a lot of people would take someone off to another page, whereas yours popped up, so you're not taking them away from the sales funnel page. There's so many considerations like that you have to think about in those sales pages, aren't there? Just to make sure that you're nurturing someone down and they don't get distracted and go off somewhere, and or there's not enough information on the page that they're not ready to do a call to action. So I was really enjoying watching you go down those.
That is really great, Anna, because you know that I struggled a lot of my um, working with businesses and working with people, and it is sometimes very difficult to convince people what you wanted to achieve without being showing them the practical way. So all of those things I have worked years of knowledge embedded to create and come to this stage that okay, if you're utilizing social media, and if you are thinking for social media to give you the freedom or give you the growth you're looking for, it's not only social media, Anna. It's social media, your software, your website, your SEO,
Yeah.
your business development. You need right mindsets, because sometimes we thought that we will do DIY, but actually DIY works. I wouldn't say that it will work, because you are a person that you have a specific knowledge. Yes, I know that you have business development knowledge, you have technology knowledge, you have other knowledge, but you might have some gaps. So if you do not tailor those gaps, if you do not bring people to overcome that barrier, then I think the progress going to be minimal. We just
Yeah.
have one question from Azama, and I just wanted to show that one to you. I think we don't have that much time today to answer questions, but you can see what are the best practices for ensuring your digital assets are ND friendly. I think you can answer it very nicely, Anna.
I think the thing to understand with neurodiverse people, it is a difficult one because neurodiversity means it's such a broad, neurodiversity and neurodivergent people are, it's a spectrum, and it's huge. So you do have to think about all of the different areas of autism, of ADHD that you might need to cover, and sometimes it does need a little bit of work, but things like making sure that for people that struggle to concentrate, that things are displayed simply and logically. Don't overload things with too many messages, because if people are struggling to concentrate, you're going to lose them. Making sure things don't have too much text, that text is broken up really easily, whether you're doing images or websites. I mentioned earlier about video. Video with subtitles is great, not just for people that are partially sighted or blind. It's also good for people that maybe struggle auditory. So a lot of ADHD people in particular um, struggle to concentrate on too many voices or too many noises at once. So if you've got text, and actually I know a lot of ADHD people that actually watch the telly with the sound on and with subtitles, because when they read along they can concentrate a lot better. So thinking about concentration levels, thinking about memory, because some people struggle with their memory. So like Dr. Shah and I were saying about forms, make sure like field names don't disappear, make sure that you're reiterating messages. If you're doing pictures and videos, keep reiterating messages throughout, because someone may forget a really important point from one page to another. Making sure that, once again, that the one thing they do, like my son's autistic, and one thing they try and do in classrooms at the moment is make sure they're less busy, like from colours and noise and stuff around. So, with your layout, just sort of keep it quite simple and smooth, and all your pictures are, if you're doing diagrams, don't overload them with too much text. So thinking about, it's that concentration, not overwhelming people, making them simple, because in case they're getting overwhelmed, and just a lot of the stuff that works with the accessible ones that I've said about, if people are using screen readers because they struggle to read long text, it also works for ND people as well. So it is a bit of, I actually did a free course on understanding autism level 2, because I wanted to understand more of these areas, and I really recommend doing something like that if you are in England. Free courses in England, I think it was, I did it through, and it's government funded, and that was really useful for understanding the entire spectrum, and they did cover ADHD as well in that, so that's really useful.
Thank you, Anna. We have another question. Just give me a second. Is from Shantunadi, and he said, how have other businesses successfully implemented accessible design? So, I think the question is a little bit different than others. How can businesses successfully implement accessible design? What is your suggestion on that?
Do you know what? It goes back to our conversation earlier, Dr. Shah, when we were talking about access to work, and, this is an access to work site, and, and we still struggle sometimes to understand sites, and they are confusing. So even the experts don't get it right all the time. The government are supposed to, in the UK, we're very hot on accessible design, and yet a lot of their services, people like neurodiverse people, disabled people, still struggle to use them. So I would say, don't be too hard on yourself if you don't get it right the first time, because the best businesses successfully implement it like one step at a time. Concentrate. I covered color contrast. Start somewhere, and if you try and do it all in one go, if you don't have hardly any accessibility, it's going to be too much and too overwhelming. One step at a time. Start with something like color contrast, then look at, can someone tab through your site? Literally just tick them off slowly over time, because some of them will need coding and some of them will need a little bit more work. And in the UK, we use W3C guidelines and WCAG guidelines, and they some of the sites they have, you can put your website through it, and you can see accessibility. In fact, Google Page Insights also does accessibility. So if you go to Google Page Insights, and it will not only look at things like the slowness of your page, it will look at the accessibility level of it as well. So that's a really good, and that's the way I'd say a lot of successful business people that successfully do this, that's where they start. What is accessible? What's not accessible about my website? And run it through some systems to see where it's dropping down. Not all of them pick up color contrast. I'll just pre-warn you on that. They don't all pick up that. So that is worth doing that WebAIM color contrast checker that I've done. But just do it in stages. Just tackle it one at a time. And then there's loads of articles out there about accessible design. So maybe just keep reading up every sort of 6 months or so for new techniques or new ideas. But the most successful businesses are those that just consider it when you're building a website. If you're going to build a new website, consider it then rather than trying to bolt it on afterwards. It's a bit like SEO, isn't it, Dr. Shah? People build a website, then think of SEO afterwards. It's the same thing. When you're doing something, think about it in your process of creation rather than bolting it on afterwards, because that's how you'll do it really successfully.
I totally agree with you, Anna. And I think we just have another questions. I will just try to answer them very quick. You talk about accessibility and other things. And with our framework, when we design a specific website, you can change the text color, background color, button color. So that is the three key elements we have embedded to any of our builds because of the accessibility. Because when you are targeting a specific niche market, you need to have the freedom to change these things. Without that, it's not possible. So that's one thing that people can embed. When you are thinking for accessibility, you can have ask your developer to add some tools for you. There are tools available that a reader or color charts that, okay, what color is okay for the target audience that you are targeting. So those are the things that you can embed. And in relation with the questions that why does SEO matter and how can it impact your business visibility? SEO matters because Google earning billions, you know that, and Microsoft and all other people, and they have a mechanism. It's like if you website is not accessible and they have a framework. So when you go for a SEO company like us or others, we will see the visibility of your page. Like, okay, if to get Google indexing is very difficult because Google will check individually if your link is working properly, if it's visible, if it's a lot of other things together. So SEO is not like getting out there and you can get out there. Google earns a lot of money for the search engine optimization and other platforms. So if you wanted to reach the target audience, you have to fix those things. And sometimes some people say, okay, I have developed my website is not getting popularities because SEO will give you that popularity. So it will fix you all the backlinks, all the things that you wanted to do, and it's a continuous work because there are other people that are investing tens of thousands of pounds to do their SEO to be on the top levels. So when people searching for something, they find them. So SEO is crucial for anyone they wanted to build. But as I said, it's a puzzle pieces. It's a business canvas. So on the business canvas, you have lots of puzzle pieces together. And you be aware of that. You cannot do them all at one go. It will not happen. You have to prioritize which one you want to do what time, and then gradually end of the maybe 6 months or 1 year, if you have invested, you will get the results out there. Otherwise, if you try to do all one go, you need a lot of investment because these people, they're expensive, they will not work for free anyway. So Anna, and that's my um, um, uh, discussion for the SEO. We are nearly end of our session. It's just have 1 minute to go. So thank you everyone for joining today's live webinar. We have tried to contribute as much as we could. In future, we're going to be bringing more live webinar for you. We will invite guests as well, but we think that we have those knowledges that we deliver first to the audience, and then we bring people with those extended knowledges that we don't have. So still, we're going to planning for the next month events. So I do appreciate for your time and as well as supporting us throughout the last few months, Anna. I do appreciate your contribution. And if you wanted to add anything to it, please.
No, it's been really great doing these with you, and thank you everyone for joining us. I'll pop if there's any comments that you want to put in LinkedIn or wherever you're watching this, I'll try and pop on afterwards and answer any extra ones as well that you have, because yeah, it's just about this conversation and keep going, and hopefully we'll all feel really confident in business, and and hopefully you'll be able to use some of this knowledge that, oh, look at that. Thank you, Gillian. Hopefully you'll be able to use this knowledge, and can't wait to see you all zooming off in business and being millionaires.
And you know that there is a myth there. You do not become millionaire, or business is not a lotto or not a Euro Millions.
Yes.
You need to work through. You need to have enough work done to become successful. So, thank you, Anna. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Gillian, for your message. We need more messages from you for us to work. Okay, she's sending another emoji. I'm just going to show that. So thank you, everyone. And clients or viewers, they are our blood, isn't it? So when they send us messages and they talk about it, this is our success. So if we could contribute a bit of your extended knowledge, that will be our success for Andy Business Club. And we will continue support you with our knowledge and go to the next level. So thank you, everyone. And we're going to be ending these events now. And please stay tuned and watch the landscape and spread the word, because we need to spread the word for people to know. And you know that with Neurodivergent Business Consortium site, we have a special section for ND Business Club. We're going to be updating a lot of information there for you to recap our events, as well as if you have any future, you can ask us as well that with the comment like, okay, can you bring this kind of events together? We will do that. Thank you, Anna, and thank you, everyone. And see you next week. Bye-bye.